to continue with the iconic Halloween. Yeah. So please join me in welcoming its creators and its star. You guys ready back there? Yeah? Go? Yes, okay. First, you've loved him since his Paranormal Activity became the most profitable film of all times. Please welcome prolific producer Jason Blum. Hey, Jason. This, handsome too, you guys. Okay, this next gentleman brought you the last 5 installments of the Halloween franchise, and we thank him. Please welcome Malik Akkad. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Hi. Everybody's so handsome. Okay, our next panelist brought you Pineapple Express, The Sitter, and HBO's Eastbound and Down. Meet producer and director David Gordon Green. Did I do it? I think you're here, David. I think I did my names backwards. You're right here. Yes.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Did I do it? Oh, that's what.
Oh, geez.
Jason, you're in Jamie's seat, Jason. That's what happened. He was drawn to me, everyone. He was drawn to me. And last but never least, this phenomenal woman has a resume that includes hits like True Lies, A Fish Called Wanda, and the franchise we're celebrating today. Please welcome the original Scream Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis. Woo! You better walk, girl. You better show it. Strut, strut, strut. Yes, girl. Yes. Woo! She's right here, you guys. It's Jamie Lee Curtis. I can't stand it. Okay. I got goosebumps. She's right here, you guys. Okay, let me get myself together. Let me be professional. Hi, Jamie. How are you? I loved hearing about your reaction when you first read the script. Can you tell us why you chose to return as the beloved Laurie Strode after 40 years?
Well, you know, Laurie Strode was 17 years old when she was brutally attacked by Michael Myers.
Yes.
A random act of violence that stayed with her her entire life. This is a girl who 40 years later never had any mental health services. I'm not joking.
No, it's true.
You know, she had a small cut on her arm and that was it. And she was raised in the Midwest. I'm sure they sent her back to school 2 days later.
Right.
And yet she has carried the trauma and PTSD of someone who was attacked randomly.
Yes.
And what was so interesting about the movie that David and company wrote is that what they're honoring today is that trauma, there comes a point where you say, I am not my trauma.
Come on.
I am not.
Come on.
The narrative of my life is not that I am a victim.
Better
and
preach.
this is a woman who's been waiting 40 years
That's right.
to face the person
Come on.
who she knows is coming back.
Come on.
To say, I am going to take back the legacy of my life. I'm going to take back my narrative, and you don't own me anymore. And that, weirdly enough, seems to be a bit of a thing in the world
Come
today.
on.
And I don't know.
Go figure.
If any of you watch, I know you're nerds, but I don't know if any of you watched the ESPYs the other day when all of those women stood on that stage while that MF and there are kids in the audience wearing Luigi and Mario hats, so I'm not saying what I really want to say.
Sam Jackson didn't
Rots in prison. Those women stood there and said, you do not control our narrative anymore.
Yes. Come on.
And that is why I am sitting here today in this great Hall H in a movie for David Gordon Green because he wrote a character who is saying, I am taking back my narrative.
Listen. Good night, everybody. No.
And that was
Listen, I didn't know we were going to have church today. That's wonderful. Okay. No, I got all my...
baby, it is Freaky Friday.
Hey! You're welcome. You're welcome. David, hi.
Yes, ma'am.
How insanely nervous were you to pitch the idea for this film to the master himself, John Carpenter? Tell me everything about that.
I was very, very nervous. My own childhood trauma was at a 7th grade sleepover party when some jerk played the movie Halloween for me.
As fun, yes.
And I got so scared that I called my mom to come get me. So that I was trying to face my demons. So we came up with the I got a nice email from Jason saying, what do you think about the Halloween franchise? Of course, it's a formidable horror film. I'm a huge movie nut. And that became, in my youth, in cinematic education, the pinnacle of horror. So taking this idea with Danny McBride and Jeff Fradley, my co-writers that I went to film school with, they lived down the hall from me in the dormitories in North Carolina, and it was just a dream come true. So we're going to meet him one morning with Jason, and we go over to his house, and he opens the door and says, "What's your story?" So for me, it was incredible. We sit down, and there's like Starman posters on the wall, and literally I'm freaking out of this environment. We tell him the story, give him our pitch. He has a few questions. We have a few questions about of what he thinks, because we want to run some ideas by him. It was really important to us that he be involved, that we write a great role for a great actress, and that we bring John into the game and be a part of the creative conversation. That was just really important to me. In the middle of the pitch, his phone goes off, and it's the iconic theme from Halloween is his ringer. And I was playing it pretty cool until that happened, and then I lost it. But so it was really fun. We had a great conversation, and then and he said, "Okay, I'm in." He was nodding. He's like, "I like the idea." And then we said, "But we also want you to do the music." And he smiled and he said, "What kind of music?" I said, "Well, ideally it would be the Halloween music, plus maybe a little slice of Christine, and maybe a little splash of Big Trouble in Little China."
Yes.
and he got a kick out of that. We hugged it out a little bit and said, "Let's go make a movie."
Love that. Thank you for sharing. Malik, hi.
Hi.
Your company, Trancas, I hope I said that right. Did I say that right? Trancas. I was so close, you guys. I was in the back, like Trancas. Okay. Can't do everything right. Has produced the Halloween franchise from its inception. What did your family see in Michael Myers all those years ago, and why do you think it still resonates and terrifies all of us?
Wow, I just want to say I'm geeking out so hard. The first and last time I was at San Diego Comic-Con was 1976.
What?
I was 7 years old, and there was about 300 people, so it's grown a bit.
And now?
It's grown a little bit.
8,000 friends.
And to think that 42 years later, I would be on this stage with these three amazing filmmakers presenting a film that I'm so excited about, and the fans are going to absolutely go crazy over, is just surreal.
Yeah.
So happy Halloween, San Diego.
Yes!
Yes. But to answer your question, I mean, anybody's guess is as good as mine. Michael Myers, because it's that face, and you can sort of put anything of your worst imagination into that blank canvas. It's and maybe that's over intellectualizing. So I'll say he is just the coolest and the baddest and the most terrifying killer in Hollywood cinema.
Yeah, I agree. Jason, hi.
Hello.
This is Laurie's big, possibly final confrontation
Never
with
say
Michael
final.
Myers.
Never say
but
final.
You just tried to do the mind
God.
I did.
meld.
You see, I tried to do the little Jedi mind trick. I was like, okay. So this film could essentially reset the entire series. How freeing is that for you as a producer?
That was really more, I loved Halloween, and I was really excited to do the next version of Halloween, but I had really no idea what that was. And I approached David, and David kind of came up with this idea of giving a nod to the other movies, but really taking what happened in the first movie, which is the best movie.
The best.
And jumping off and saying what would happen 40 years later. That was really an idea that David and Danny came up with, and my involvement was, I told them I loved it.
I love that answer. Jamie, Laurie is a very different woman now than people might assume. Tell me about where we find her and what she's been through since that fateful night.
Okay, I have one thing to comment
Yes,
on
get in
about
there,
what
girl.
Malik was
Get
talking
in
about.
there.
Well, no, I'm listening.
Do it.
Part of a job of an actor
Is to listen.
not just take pictures of yourselves.
That's true. Lesson in that.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
She said just take pictures.
I actually think what's terrifying is random acts of violence. And I think what made Michael Myers so terrifying was its randomness.
Right.
Here he was, this terrifying physical creature, and as you said, in this enigmatic mask. But it's the randomness. It was a small town, this beautiful life of these young girls talking about boys and dreaming, just like all of our, we hope, the childhood of our children have.
Right.
And then you introduce this terrifying thing. And I think you can't, there is nothing scarier than caring about a character and introducing a terrifying element, and that's what makes these movies so terrifying and great. Who we meet, Laurie Strode. So it's 40 years later. Laurie, as I said, had no real support, had no real help. And PTSD is real, people, and trauma is real, and the effects of PTSD and trauma on human beings is profound.
Yeah.
And I think she did the thing that most people do. They drink too much, they bang into people, they try to do relationships. Laurie obviously had a child. That child was taken from her, because can you imagine Laurie Strode on the first day of first grade as a parent?
Right.
At the parent-teacher conference?
Terrified.
When she raises her hand and the teacher, Miss Smith, says, yes. Hi, what's your exit strategy?
Right.
I'm sorry, what is your exit strategy? What happens when Michael,
Right.
This is clearly a woman who was dogmatic about her belief that Michael Myers would come back. So who we meet is a woman who's had her child taken from her, and she lives in complete isolation, basically, waiting for him to come back because she knows he's going to.
That is not a life. Okay. David, heard you have something for us. You want to show us something?
You guys want to see something cool? So when we were preparing for this,
This is
What, you wanna say something weird?
No, I'm not saying nothing.
Come on, David,
This
give
is
it to
the
us.
special stuff for
David,
them.
there's something you have for us.
something.
David, you have something for us.
So when we found out we were going to come to Comic-Con, and we could talk all day, but one of the things I think is important to try to get across the essence of the movie. So, so we asked the greatest minds of the creative and intellectual communities on Earth to put together a slideshow, a PowerPoint presentation of sorts.
Yes.
And we're just going to show you a bunch of cool stuff.
All right. So we're going to do that right now.
Halloween.
Halloween. Yeah, I'm a little shook. I'm a little shook right now. So I'm just going to go to audience questions because I don't have anything in me right now. I've been depleted with fear. Let's go to you, sir.
Hi, my name's Joseph, and I want to ask a question for Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
First of all, I'm just really grateful for the movie Halloween because 34 years ago it saved my life. I was in a situation where someone had cut the phone wires and a guy was running around with a knife. I was scared out of my mind, and out of nowhere, this thought inside of me went, well, what would Jamie Lee Curtis do? Our dog Duchess bit up these knitting needles, and so I grabbed them out of the trash, and I saw the guy with the knife on one side of the house. I ran out, ran down to the neighbors, started screaming like you did in the movie, and the guys, I said, well, what's in your hand? I said, they're just knitting needles, and they said, no, with those knitting needles, we're not going to let you in our house. But to make a long story short, I'm here today because of the way that you portrayed Laurie Strode. I'm a victor today instead of a victim.
Wow.
Just like those people that you were talking about.
Wow.
And I never thought I'd get it. You're the only reason I came to Comic-Con this year.
Aww. Come up, sir. Come up, sir. Come around. Come around. Come around. Come around. She's coming to you. That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh. That's amazing. That's beautiful. Told y'all we were having church up in here today. People been saved, redeemed. Oh, it's so beautiful. Jamie Lee Curtis, I love you. How sweet that is. Oh. Listen. Yeah. We're doing selfies. Listen. Sometimes selfies heal too. So just know that. That was beautiful. We can line up the next questioner because I know we got a couple. We can get a couple more in, but I'm so happy we were all here to see that beautiful moment.
Hi there.
Hi.
It's a hard act to follow.
That's a hard. Listen, you better come with something. Listen, your baby was born on Halloween. Something. Give us something. What you got?
Nothing really.
What's your question? What's your question?
I just have a question for you, David. I know you're a fantastic comedy director. I just wanted to know what elements of comedy you're bringing to Halloween, if any.
We're playing it very straight, taking it very seriously, honoring the first Halloween in every way. But there's some tension breakers in there. Yeah, they're just trying to play within the reality of it, and there's not jokes and there's not set up payoff kind of things, but there's some funny characters you'll meet around on Halloween night. Yeah.
Awesome. Hello.
Hi. My question's for Jamie.
Okay.
After 40 years, how easy was it to transition back into the role of Laurie?
Where are you from?
Scotland.
Yes.
You've come a long way.
Yeah.
Welcome. You know, the gentleman that spoke earlier, you see that kind of emotion is real. You see, these are movies, and we're all, you know, we love to come to a movie and get scared, and it's all exciting. But you see, it's all has to be based, as an actor, as a director, as a writer, as a producer, has to be based in a reality and something you can believe in. And his state of being, that amount of emotion Laurie Strode has been carrying for all these years. Now, all these years, I am 40 years older. I've raised 2 children. I've survived my husband and I for 34 years. And, and I have lost all of my adult family, parents, friends. And the reality of life is what makes stepping into a role 40 years later so easy, because it's just emotion and human feelings, and that connection just now is the evidence of all that. We can all have a good time and everything, but it has to be rooted in something. And I think that's why Laurie Strode has remained a beautiful person for people, because she's the same girl 40 years later. She's just been through a heck of a lot, like we all have. You peel the onion of any person in this room, you will find trauma, you will find issues of sadness and loss and grief and great joy and happiness and drunkenness and, you know, misbehavior and all the rest of it. But it's human interaction, and I think that's what makes going to the movies so powerful, is we look up there, we relate, and then we let out all of the anxiety that we're all carrying, because I think we're all carrying a lot of anxiety right now in the universe. Yeah. I'm not saying nothing about politics.
That was another drop the mic moment, courtesy of Jamie Lee Curtis. We have time for one more question. You guys are going to tag team and give it to us.
We both want to know if you guys still go trick-or-treating in Halloween.
Down the line.
If we both still trick-or-treat?
You still trick-or-treat?
No, I have a tradition in Halloween. We don't have a Christmas party at Blumhouse. We have a Halloween party, of course, and I always dress up as a woman, and I plan to continue that tradition this October.
Nice.
But I don't trick or treat in my female outfit.
Alec?
Yes, of course. Definitely tricks and treats, and every Halloween for sure.
Yeah, me too. I trick or treat. I like the Reese's peanut butter cups.
I don't. Because I am my own Halloween costume.
You are.
And I can just be home and be with myself. Nobody comes where I live. Nobody comes. I put candy out. I'm a really good person. I put bowls of candy out. No one ever comes. So I just look in the mirror, smile, play the theme song, watch the movie. And I will tell you...
It's Halloween every day for you, Jamie Lee.
Say what now? I will tell you, since we're about to leave, Halloween is the greatest job, character. Laurie Strode is the greatest part I will ever get to play. And the idea that as I am kissing 60 years old, that when I was 19 years old, on the streets of Los Angeles and Pasadena, we made this little movie with Mustafa Akkad, Malik's father. And now, 40 years later, we're at Comic-Con announcing a new movie in 2018. It is mind-blowing, and I am privileged beyond measure.
I think that is the perfect way to end this wonderful panel. I loved meeting all you guys and talking with you. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed our Universal Hour. Please remember that Halloween will be in theaters October 19th. Go see it. Thank you so much, Hall Lady. It's been a great day. I got an ass in the back.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Mine?